The CEO was surrounded by his highest-paid engineers when the system crashed. But it was the cleaning lady's 10-year-old son who quietly walked in and solved the problem nobody else could. It wasn't even 5 minutes to showtime when everything went to hell inside Halcyon Metric's glass-walled control room in Tempe, Arizona. The mood had been tense but confident. People moved with purpose. Screens blinked with glowing dashboards, and tech leads murmured over headset mics. CEO Renwick Dorsey stood in the center of it all, arms folded, watching with that cold, calculating stare he was famous for. This launch had to go perfectly. The investors were watching live from 2 countries. Reporters were in the hallway, lining up for their tech previews. City council members had been invited as a PR gesture. They were already sipping catered coffee and staring through the glass like kids at an aquarium.
The product was a cloud infrastructure manager called Nimbus Core. It was supposed to be Halcyon's future, the platform that would take them from promising disruptor to household name. Millions had gone into development, billboards, training events. 2 acquisition deals had already been floated, just based on the beta. And then, with 3 minutes and 14 seconds to launch, it happened. Every screen stuttered, then black. The giant 4K wall monitor let out a faint pop. The lights didn't flicker, but the air felt charged, like a wire had snapped somewhere behind the walls. Renwick didn't move at first. He just kept staring. "Are we doing a controlled reboot?" he asked, his voice almost too calm. No one answered. He turned. "Is this a simulation?" "No, sir," someone muttered. "This is real." The hum of the air conditioning and distant voices from the press area became suddenly loud in the silence. A young systems engineer, Lars Petrov, bent toward his terminal. "I think it's the cache servers. They've all gone into recursive boot, but the failover didn't kick in." "What do you mean it didn't kick in?" Renwick snapped. "It's automated. That's what we paid for. That's what you swore would work." Lars stammered something, eyes wide. Senior developer Kendra Silas leaned in with him, scrolling like her fingers were trying to dig answers out of the screen. "It's not just the cache. The load balancers are glitching too. This doesn't make sense." "It's not the hardware," said someone in the back. "We did full diagnostics at 6 this morning."
Renwick walked toward the screen like he could force it to reboot by presence alone. "Get the backup node up," he barked. "Trying," Lars said, typing faster now. "But the watchdog timer isn't releasing control." A tech on the left cursed under his breath. Another opened Slack and started typing to a remote team. "This can't be happening," someone whispered, but it was on the other side of the glass. The city councilwoman from Mesa was raising an eyebrow. A tech reporter had started filming on her phone. Renwick turned back to his team. "You got 90 seconds or we're pulling."
"The plug," he finished, and the words seemed to crack the room like a whip. Lars's hands were shaking on the keyboard now. Kendra muttered, come on," under her breath, as if sheer will might rewrite code. The giant wall of black screens reflected their faces back at them, pale and frantic. Then, from the open doorway behind them, a small voice said, "Your loop monitor is stuck on a soft lock." Heads snapped around. There stood the cleaning lady, Maria, the one who came in at night and usually vanished before sunrise. Next to her, holding her hand, was a wiry boy with messy hair and a backpack shaped like a rocket ship. Renwick blinked. "What?" The boy let go of his mother's hand, stepped forward between billion-dollar engineers, and pointed to Lars's frozen screen. "It's not the cache servers. The watchdog timer is stuck in a soft lock, so the failover script keeps calling the same node over and over. It'll never trigger the bypass unless you break the loop manually." Lars opened his mouth, closed it. That actually makes sense." "Show me," Renwick said. The boy slid into the chair, feet not even touching the floor, and began typing. No hesitation, no wasted motions. The room was dead silent, except for the soft clack of keys. He killed the loop, forced a soft break, rewrote 3 lines in the bypass script, and hit enter. For one excruciating heartbeat, nothing. Then, every screen flickered back to life. Dashboards glowed, load graphs climbed back to normal, and a status banner pulsed green. Nimbus Core online. A collective gasp went through the room. Kendra let out a nervous laugh that sounded like a sob. Lars just sagged back in his chair. Renwick Dorsey stared at the boy like he was an alien who had just descended from a UFO. "What's your name?" "Diego," the boy said quietly. Renwick straightened, smoothing his jacket, already composing how he'd spin this later. "Diego, how old are you?" 10. Outside the glass, the press cheered as the launch countdown resumed at 2 minutes. Inside, the engineers stood in stunned silence, and Maria just smiled, proud but unsurprised. Renwick gave the smallest nod. "Good work," he said, and then he turned back to his team, clapping once. "All right, let's launch this thing."